How much money you charge is totally up to you. But when the client decides to pay, now that's up to them. Or is it? You see, if you're anything like me, I was at the mercy of clients when they decided to pay their invoices, especially as it related to website design projects. Now, in those projects, I would charge 50% upfront, 50% on completion, and getting the first payment was super easy. Everyone's really excited. But since that latter 50% was actually tied to the project launching and finishing, that thing could be totally unpredictable when that was actually going to happen. Because, despite my best efforts of putting these things together, clients would always have some other thing that would come up, that it would be hard to get content for them, or, meetings to get approvals to actually get the thing live would get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So here I was, having done like 90% of the work, but really been only paid for 50% of the project. So I got really fed up with this because I had these projects stacking where I had all these half-paid projects, but mostly done, just ready to go. So what I did is I decided to change the way that I invoiced clients in the billing schedule. And at first I thought, well, gosh, are they really going to be okay with this? But I was so frustrated, I said, let's just give it a shot. So what I did is I said, let's go ahead and keep the 50% up front. That's cool. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to invoice for the phase of work that begins next. So at the moment that I was finished with the design, I was going to start building the website, I said, let's go ahead and invoice for 40%, the next 40%. So by the time that I'd actually done 90% of the work, I'd also been paid 90% of the project. And that last 10% was just hanging out there as kind of an agreement between the client and I that that's what was waiting for me to get paid until the thing actually went live. Now, the first client that I put this in front of, I was pretty nervous. I was like, are they going to be okay with this? And I was totally surprised that they just didn't even blink. They said, okay, they signed off and it was no problem. And the project went smoothly, right? The next client that came in, I did it again and again and again. Out of all the projects that I put in front of clients, maybe 1 out of 25 would raise their hand and say, well, hey, wait a minute. So you're saying that you're gonna get paid 90% of the project, but we haven't finished and launched it yet? And the first time that happened, I just said, yeah. And then they said, okay. And they signed off. And I was like, huh. Right? Anytime that there was a disagreement around the payment schedule that maybe the client didn't see that that was fair, and it was rare, I would just change the number. So maybe instead of 50, 40, 10, it became 50, 30, 20. And this put the power back in my hands, because when it was just me being a solo web designer, like whether I got paid or not wasn't as big of a deal. But as I started to incur more expenses, bringing on a team, having an office, I needed cash flow to be able to pay for these things. So if you're a web designer or digital marketer, only charging 50% upfront and waiting for that last 50% for who knows how long, that's something that's keeping you from actually growing and scaling your business into something that could be bigger than it is today. This is just one example of the common convention that's out there that I broke. All business rules are made up, and you get to change the way that you do business. You get to decide how it works. The 50-50 model is something that I thought everyone did, and therefore I had to do. And just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean that you should too. This is your business, and you get to make up the rules. Now, if you want to see my exact contract language so you can see how to set this up, around this video, you'll see the opportunity to grab a copy of that completely for free. I want you to see how you can deploy this in your business so you get paid on time and cover your cash flow and your expenses, so that way you can build a bigger, stronger agency that you absolutely love.